I think.
All right, Scott Cuthbert, Independence Patriots. Scott, obviously, given what region, we talked about this last night, how important region wins are. That's a good one for you to scratch out against a really tough pitcher.
Yeah, I thought we did. I mean, he pitched really good, but I thought we did good by putting it in play. When I looked at his box scores, he averages usually 10 plus strikeouts, and we put it in play. And that's a good sign for my guys. I thought the top looked overall really good. It stood in there good and stuff, and we banged a hit or two early, but we just couldn't manufacture anything. I thought defensively, we had mental lapse there. Mike don't play shortstop a lot, and he forgot who was running, but they got the one inning, but we kept playing. That's what I try to tell them. Look, it's a long game sometimes. You just got to keep grinding.
What about the job Brady Williams did? I mean,
he had
one inning.
The one inning, I thought he got. I think actually that inning helped him because he kind of settled down after that. He was all pumped up for this game, and sometimes that's not good for pitchers.
Right.
Because you got to relax, and he was having trouble with his off speed, and everything was elevated, and I think the inning they hit, he kind of was trying to get ahead, and he let up a little bit, but and BK did a great job shutting the door down there. That's a tough situation to come into sometimes, and I thought he did a really good job there.
Real good job of moving people on. You scored only 2 runs scored on hits.
Yeah, once the bottom guys can get on, we got good speed, but you can't steal first base, So then once we seen a couple of things there, we was able to steal third, and we was trying to force a throw every once in a while. And when we moved them over to one time, we was able to put it in play and sacrifice. We had to do a little baseball stuff tonight, which was nice to see because when you play this game, the farther you go, the more that stuff becomes important. So we made nice plays. I don't think we had one little error in the middle early there. And, it's freshmen, and you got all these people here, they're not used to that. So,
talk a little bit about that because, you got some new pieces, you got some young kids.
Yeah.
You get down 4-0, it's easy to kind of, we're done. But they kept scrapping. Man.
They did. And we try to preach that from day one. It's a long game. Sometimes we'll talk about just, win each frame.
Right.
Treat it like a frame and not a whole game. And don't worry about what happened that inning. Just keep winning the next 2 innings. And that helps, and we got his pitch count up. Right. That helped too. You hate to say that, but when you got good pitchers on the mound, sometimes you got to look over and see where they're at. And that's your goal. But we'll have to see. That's what I told him. I said, you just can't be excited to win one game. You got to keep trying to get better. And you got another tough test tomorrow. So
Keith had a real nice inning.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's pitched good for us so far. His one start was really good. He tweaked the muscle there when we went to Tennessee, and he was out all last week. So to be able to come back, he just got released Monday or Tuesday.
Hey, Mark, can you stop him?
Brady. How do you put this game behind you and move to tomorrow with these young kids?
It's hard. But they put yesterday's behind them and moved to today. It's early in the season. Still, the way I look at it, we're still in the first third of it.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's tough to play these games this early in the season too. Sometimes, and the way I scheduled it didn't help matters. It'd been nice to not play tomorrow, but then you got the other good. You see righty that throws just as hard tomorrow, but we'll have to see because that's one thing I like about it is it's set up like tournament play.
It's like
I did that last year with a week or so, because when you get to the end, that's the way you got to play it anyways. But we'll see what happens.
You got a young team. They have an experienced club over there, state tournament team.
Well, you got to forget, I got my juniors playing the state championship game.
Right. But
so
you
I got some experience
too. You got some freshmen in your starting. I got. That has to be good for them.
I started 3 tonight.
And you have started 4 before, I think.
Yeah, I've started 5 before actually. There are a couple times.
But,
I've started 3 freshmen. I started 2 kids that didn't play with me. 2. So I had 2 new starters. Brady and BK are both new starters here.
That's got to be a big thing for you too.
Yeah,
you said
is.
Brady was fired up for this game. They had to all be, just to test their mettle against a tournament experience.
And then we have to, it takes them guys sometimes a while to get used to me and me get used to them too. So it's always there. 2 years ago when Blake and Reed came in here, it was the same type of thing.
Hey, Scotty, appreciate you, man.
No problem.